So I had left a key to the surveillance vehicle on top of my desk so that somebody could move the vehicle, because a lot of times Chief Berkowitz would get after me. As a courtesy, I was parking vehicles there, sometimes my personal, but primarily my work vehicles. And one thing he asked me, just leave the vehicles in the middle of the parking lot so that snow could be cleared. So the reason for heading back there was to move those vehicles, because if I didn't do it then, I would have had to get up early and do it. And I also know they plow through the night, so that would be the reason for heading back. Generally, in the parking lot, when you come into the police station, you drive in. Sally ports are off to your right-hand side. There's two bay doors there. There's a pass-through door, and then over in the corner would typically where I would bury both vehicles.
And sort of that back area, is that typically where you would park?
Yes.
And just in reference to you talk about a surveillance vehicle, that's something that you use as far as conducting surveillance and performance of your duties as a law enforcement officer?
Yes.
And the Canton PD, how many vehicles did you have at that location?
So I would have had my government truck that I parked there. I would have had a surveillance vehicle that I parked there. And at times, it would sometimes flip in and out between a pickup truck that I had and the Jeep itself.
And the Jeep that you were driving that night, can you describe the Jeep, sort of what it looked like, what kind of Jeep it was? So
it's a 2011 Jeep Wrangler, gray in color. And at the time that I was driving it on the 28th and the 29th the next day, it had a plow on it.
And the plow that you had affixed to the Jeep Wrangler, is that, how big a plow are we talking about?
If I was to guess, it was probably 6 feet, 8 inches.
Okay, now that you've heard from Brian and you know where he puts his vehicles, let me take you over to Canton PD on February 1st.
And where it was that you conducted these tests?
Yeah, so this is a view from the back of the Canton Police Department.
Trooper, if you could, please describe to the jury what we're looking at in this photograph that's now been marked as Exhibit 606.
Excuse me, sir. I'll take over from here. What you see here, jury, is Brian Higgins Jeep. A couple days after he told us, he parks it and the car next to it in the middle because of the storms, and he doesn't want to get chewed out by the chief. So I guess at some point it was just very important for him to move it back during, this investigation. It must have been super important. But what mostly you might notice, jury, is those fat lights. And what Higgins says is that he had to operate his plow that night because he had left it down. So when he lifted it up, I wonder if those lights are automatic, or maybe not. Maybe he just didn't see nothing.
Describe to the jury sort of how it was that you pulled away, or what, if anything, you recall about that process.
So I got in the Jeep, started it up, may have looked at my phone, put it in drive and started to pull away. And then I'm like, put the plow up. So I reached, I moved a couple of feet. I heard it grinding on the ground, reached for the device called a fish stick, picked it up, lifted the plow, and then drove away.